Nothing will hold them but railroad ties. Nothing keeps them.
Hello, 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 hello. How are all of my lovelies this evening? I hope that you have found yourself very, very well. We are on time, waiting for Scarlett, and I wish I had a way to play some music for y'all or do something while we're waiting, but I really don't yet. I'm working on it though. I mean, I'm going to be there eventually soon. But we have had some like crazy things happening around us, and we were just discussing part of it. But homestead updates, things that have happened, things that you guys like to keep afloat on. So the eldest is, which is what we were all just discussing, is going to work on a buffalo farm tomorrow, and I'm super jelly about it. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I guess I should have started too. It's been a while. Welcome to Jiff Journey into Freedom. And like all other children, the wolves now who have remained, earthly quiet and laying down and sleeping and being oh so lovely and adorable. The moment mom gets on the phone, just like any child, turn into little T-Rexes and begin the playtime because, well, mom's on the phone. At least in their world, this is mom being on the phone. So, twerps. Hey, BJ, how you doing? Um, yeah, so he gets to go work with big fluffies, and I'm jealous. Yeah, that's my llama. That's Elijah llama. That's the llama that was born here. That's my boy right there. That's my fried tater eating crazy boy. And actually, that's my llama coming into my car for a French fry, actually, because he really is in love with French fried potatoes. So, yeah. And yeah, he's pretty awesome. He's turning 3 this year, Mr. Elijah. So he's not new anymore. I mean, he's still our baby llama, but he's not a baby anymore. But our baby, I mean, how can you not? Look at that face. It's a booba face. Um, yeah, I don't want to get into everything until Scarlet gets here, really. So, that's part of what I'm waiting on. And she should be coming soon. Like, I just talked to her like less than a half an hour ago, and she was going to have dinner and stuff, but she says she should be wrapping up and getting here. But it is going to be an interesting show tonight. We are going to have quite a bit to cover and discuss. And so I'm just going to go over like little homestead stuff and stuff to catch everybody up on things going on, and maybe even a little bit of my neighborhood stuff, because I need, you know what, I'm gonna go into some neighborhood. I'm gonna go into some neighborhood shit right now because it's on my mind. It's fresh. Okay. So listen, guys. I moved, right? And like I moved all the way out here in the middle of nowhere. And I did this in a large to get away from certain elements and things, right? So, like gang fights, drug wars, um, city type things, gunfire, um, feeling unsafe in your own home, all of these things. I move out into what was nothing really when I moved here. And really dug in and started making a life and doing things, and I've been exposed to more of the things that I didn't want to be exposed to, that I had actually never been exposed to. Because, even though I fled to escape those things, I hadn't really been exposed to them. They weren't like in my face. I had never really had to deal with, like, I don't know, for instance, being right next door to a shootout at dusk. you know could it have happened easily as far as I thought where I was living at the time? Sure, it could have. And part of why I moved out into the middle of nowhere, and out into the Colorado area. And yet I've been exposed to it more here than anywhere else I've ever been. Like, it's in my face. Like, literally last night we were next door to a shootout. This happened. Like, my neighbor was literally almost killed last night by another one of my supposed neighbors. They're also, I can't say that they are, because I don't know. I cannot confirm nor can I deny if they are legal or illegal marijuana cultivation. So that being said, they literally shot at another one of my neighbors, and he's got like bullet holes in his truck and everything to show for it. And I mean, there's two sides to every story, and then somewhere in the middle is the truth. And they claim one thing, he claims another. It's either way for me. There was gunfire and stuff happening less than 4 acres away from me. Unacceptable.
Don't feel that. Yeah, don't feel that.
Unacceptable.
Don't feel that.
So that being said, which I just checked in on my neighbor because thought we had heard some yelling coming from over there, but apparently he says it's all quiet over there. Um, but I know my neighbor, and he does tend to be a little bit of a boisterous man. Yes. So he might be saying everything's quiet because the noise is coming from him. But he's okay either way. But yeah, so we had some pretty drastic things happening last night, and I just heard from Scarlett she's on her way. She should be here any moment. We should be getting her, so that'll be good, and then we can get on with the show. This has been so this is like ongoing news because it's not done. It's still like happening. It's like going on right now too, and so and it's literally like right next door. So it's a little, oh boy. Oh, that's as far as work on the house, pretty good actually. I have a house, kind of, sort of. I mean, it's a house to me. It's more of a house than I've had in a long time. I have a kitchen. I'm regretting that decision right now, by the way, everyone. Because, yeah, I did move back in with Peanut Gallery, and obviously is still being Peanut Gallery in the background. And as he yells, I'm like, right, regretting that decision. Now I am again reminded why I was in my she shack. Which is upstairs. Which is still upstairs, and I still have it. It's still available. My tea has gone missing. So I have a kitchen. I have an actual full size stove now. So that's well above where I was. I have a large like a large area for cooking and such. I have a sink and such set up. now. We got a new wood stove, totally amazing. And it's got like a griddle flat top. And oh man, it cooks so good. Things just cook so good on it. Um, yeah, it has been pretty hard dealing with everything in the last like little bit with the drasticness of the neighborhood. Um, well, yeah, I mean, just having the house and the space again was really the important thing, more than anything else. Um, and I was tired of being separated, and but yeah, and then there's the like living room area, the sitting area, and then there's a bedroom, and hopefully we'll be doing a couple other things in the next months coming ahead, that will be very beneficial and level up the homestead and the house situation even more. Um, but now is really not a time to be necessarily discussing future moves. Um, Now is the time actually to keep your moves pretty quiet, and I would suggest that to anyone right now. Um, don't stop making moves, but don't publicize them. Keep them to yourself for a minute. Silence is kind of golden right now, and we're gonna get more into that as we talk about the number two and Pluto and the date 02/22/2022. Um, so that's all going to be stuff that we're going to be talking about. Oh man, it is nice. I'm not going to try to lie about that. I love this wood stove. This is like the best wood stove I have ever encountered. Um, I enjoy it actually. It's a Schrader. Uh, so I mean, I don't know how old it is or anything. It's heavy. And it's big and it heats the whole area. I mean, very well. And benefit of being able to cook on top of it as well. Um Now other changes that have taken place. I don't know. Well, I'm still off of all nicotine for those that are keeping up with that. Um I've been off cigarettes for almost 2 years now, guys. Yeah. Um, and I had switched to vaping, and I reduced my nicotine down to like the 0.03%. That's like as low as you can go before no nicotine. And that's kind of where it was. And so I've been off of that now for, I'm going to say, about 3 months. Um, so all nicotine now out the window. I'm not doing any. I'm not even vaping. Um, the juice without nicotine. I'm pretty much done with that. The marijuana, is the only thing that I'm still partaking in. I have repurposed my battery for vaping for that purpose of with marijuana. Um, oh yeah, sure. Um, Cooking on it is pretty miraculous. I do I do enjoy it. I enjoy that it is so great at heating that we can load it up and damp it down and go to bed and pretty much get through till middle of the night and get up once, stoke it, throw some new wood in there, reshut it, crawl back into bed, and be good till we get up in the morning. That's been really nice. I know it has been almost 2 years, though. Yes. So, hard to believe, but true. Hard to believe, true. Um, so I also, for those that don't know, I have not eaten pork for over 4 years now. I had cut that out of my diet a while ago. Um, for some reason, it just didn't mesh well with me. Now I have actually become gluten free. So I have reduced all gluten. And not just reduced, I personally have eliminated all gluten in my personal diet. My oldest also has diminished all gluten from his diet. However, Peanut Gallery and Mouthpiece, um, they still dabble with the gluten. Um, oh yeah, I'm sure it is. So I have yeah, I have cut out all gluten. That's been um over a month that I've been doing that now. Um Other than the breading of the well, other than just like sandwich bread, I haven't really minded the switch at all. Um, I mean, it could be a little inconvenient. Shopping is a little harder, but I haven't noticed anything that makes me completely like, oh no. When I had first heard of gluten-free diets, like I don't know, 11, 12 years ago, um, there wasn't very much out there or available like nowadays. Nowadays there's gluten-free Oreos, which are delightful, by the way. Even if you're not gluten-free, I highly recommend them. They're softer than regular Oreos and they soak up milk better. Just saying. And they taste pretty darn good. I do posts all the time. Oh, yay. Hi, Scarlett. Are you actually there yet?
I am here. I was just letting you talk, so it wasn't a big deal. And I was dealing with the bot, so I was getting that out of
Oh.
the way. So, but yes, I am.
Yeah. So, I actually do a post every night.
Yeah, you have been very consistent on that. I was
Yes,
gonna
I
say
do.
something about that. Like, you should start like a little gluten-free group or something and put everybody in there.
I do a gluten-free on a budget post every night and tell everybody what we had for dinner, what it costs, and explain that fed 4 more people. Because the one thing that I hear from people before I was gluten-free that I kept hearing from everybody is, "I can't afford to be gluten-free." Listen, if I can make a family of 4 gluten-free on the money that I have, anybody can do this. Anybody can do this, okay? I'm just saying. So I really, really, really do one literally every night, every night. And if I miss a night, I will make up for it in the morning. I will tell you. Now, I sometimes will do gluten-free posts throughout the day, like gluten-free breakfast time, gluten-free lunchtime, gluten-free snack time. I do those posts, but I'm not regular with them. The one that I will 100% say happens every day, despite all other things, is the gluten-free post at night, the dinner one. You know what? I have noticed a huge change. Since I've gone gluten-free. Like, no joke. No, all joking aside, I have noticed big differences cutting the gluten out of my life. One of the main differences is which was something, at one time that I was just basically told I had to live with. I don't puke every morning anymore. I used to puke almost every single morning, and they couldn't really give me a reason of why. I've done it for 10 plus years. They couldn't really give me a really good reason why. It was always undigested food, and basically they were just like, this is just something that you do. But yeah, no, cut the gluten out, and guess what? It's not something I do. So that was good.
No, that is good. I mean,
Well,
gluten,
Scarlett, I used to throw up every morning.
that is true. That is a true story.
And I did have some other times where I wasn't throwing up, but when I look back at those times, it was times when I was eating gluten-free things that I didn't necessarily know were gluten-free. But now that I'm gluten-free, I recognize that those things were gluten-free. Because a lot of the things that I already intake that were part of my diet or things that I enjoyed, little like things that aren't necessarily good for me, but I still like them, the balance thing. I can have some things that aren't good for me as long as I do other things that are good for me. So a lot of the stuff that I was already doing is gluten free. Like, for instance, Cheetos. Cheetos are gluten free. That sounds delightful, Bonnie. I won't lie. But yeah, I do a post every night. I haven't done tonight's. but tonight we just had gluten-free chicken nuggets and fries. And then we did snack time with homemade queso and, hint of lime Tostitos, which are gluten-free as far as I can.
Corn chips are gluten-free.
All right.
Well, not everything though, because you know what? We have found out that there's a lot of sneaky gluten in food.
There is.
There is. Now, personally, I don't necessarily react to gluten. Now, I bet you if I take a tolerance test, I would. But everybody does, though, to be fair.
Mm-hmm.
And our sources of grains and things. Oh, you know what I saw though the other day, G? I wanted to tell you about. I know you don't maybe have one in your area, but just in case you do, y'all got Papa John's?
No.
Dang. If you ever see a Papa John's, they got ancient grain, gluten-free crust.
Ooh, that's nice.
Ain't it though? I thought I was going to tell you that. I was like, oh, I seen it when I was ordering it. And I was like, that would probably be a really good tasting crust.
You know what? I would highly suggest trying it, even if you're not gluten-free, because I have found a lot of the gluten-free stuff to be quite delightful.
Nowadays, now 10, 15, 20 years ago, everything gluten-free tastes like rock.
Oh, yeah. You ain't lying.
That's real. That's why nobody wanted that gluten-free.
I love me some Cheetos, too, especially now that I know that they're gluten-free. I love me some Cheetos even more. Nom, 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 nom. Like,
I've
but my
never been a
favorite.
big Cheeto fan. Yeah, I'm not a Cheeto fan.
Listen, my favorite thing
I'll
right
eat
now.
Cheetos though. Like if you get one of them variety packs and it comes with Cheetos, I'll eat the Cheetos.
Now, listen, my favorite thing that I have found since I have been gluten-free is pork and friggin' jammies.
Yeah, you have like those, G. I'll give you that.
Oh man, they're delightful.
I love cheese, Bonnie. But me and Cheetos just I don't know. You know what I liked always as a kid though? Cheese balls. Planters cheese balls. Those were the best. The new Planters cheese balls that came back aren't as good as the old Planters cheese balls.
Oh yeah, no, the cheese is different.
It is, G. It does not taste the same. They need to find out whatever 90s plastic they was using and go back.
Yep, no, you ain't lying. That's true.
There was something about them cheese balls. I'm just
There
saying,
was.
maybe the can was better because it was a pop can. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
it was a real can back in the day.
Right.
I don't know, but I just feel like them Planters cheese balls used to be better, and those were my jam. You know how many years? You know that's probably why I don't like Cheetos because I sat for so many years pining for them fucking cheese balls.
Probably.
Mm-hmm.
Probably. So you are right, Bonnie. A
Oh,
lot
she
of
says they do have a good crust.
I know I saw. And lots of oats are contaminated by gluten. So you do specifically need to look for like gluten-free oats.
That is true because you know who has a really big problem with this? And the only reason why I know is because a friend's boyfriend started working. Okay, so y'all know where I used to live and where I live now is technically the home of General Mills. But I literally used to live down the block from General Mills.
Right.
And one of the things is my friend's boyfriend, or I guess her ex-baby daddy at the time. But he worked at the grain factory that did the Cheerios for General Mills. And he couldn't tell you how many times in a week there was cross-contamination, only because stupid people are literally opening bags of grains and not having the sense to realize, oh, these aren't the same grain. And then they just try to play it off, and then they grind it up, and then that's how you get your recall.
Yep.
And it's not, so like, unfortunately, it kind of is General Mills' fault, but it isn't. Like, I mean, you can only help. All you do is hire the people. You can't make them less stupid.
Right.
once
True.
they get to the job. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm sure they fire these people who keep mixing the grain, but then you hire somebody else and they do it. So I mean, you see.
Right. Yeah, cycle
But
of
that's
depression.
true though. But I guess that was one of their biggest issues. And I guess when that happened, they had to shut it down because they've been priding themselves in separating and being gluten. Now they are gluten free certified, I believe. But at this time, they
Yeah.
weren't. But because it kept happening, that's why they ended up making Cheerios a gluten free facility.
Right. Fruity Pebbles, man. Fruity Pebbles, Cocoa Pebbles, gluten free, y'all.
Yeah,
Gluten
because
free.
they're rice cereal. Yeah. I didn't think about
Hey,
that. So you just said that.
Captain Crunch doesn't claim to be gluten free, but there's no glutinous stuff in there.
Right.
Okay. And the reason that a lot of these places don't say gluten free is because there could be cross contamination. So if you're just cutting gluten out like me, for instance, I mean, technically there's more to it than that, but I'm just
To
saying
be
that
fair, though, honestly, I live a pretty gluten free life because most of the shit I eat is keto.
right.
Like, to be honest, just because keto has helped me feel better in life. Heavy carnivore, but keto because I like my cheese and stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Um, but I have noticed that, like, I don't, when I tried to sit down and think, like, all what I eat that's like gluten, I'm not a big fan of bread, nor have I ever been since a child. I'll cook with it, I'll eat with it, but like I don't consume as much as probably most people do. Maybe that's why I've been able to stick with it as long as I have and haven't gotten like complete intolerance, if that makes sense, because I don't eat it that much.
You know what? I'm with you on that because I'm not the biggest, like, I don't like go through loaves and loaves of bread myself
No,
personally.
but you did like pasta a lot and shit.
I did. I was a big
See what
pasta
I'm saying? So you like things that had the gluten in
and
it work.
pizza.
Yeah, see, I don't eat that much pizza because my son, that's one of his food groups, so I don't eat it a lot because we always eat it. You know, maybe 5, 6 years ago, I ate a lot more pizza. But girl, once you've eaten pizza for 12 years, all the meals, it don't be good no more. Now, to be fair, I did eat pizza all this weekend on my birthday, but again, it don't be that good no more.
All right.
Ooh, against the grain frozen pizza. That sounds good. Don't they make some other stuff too? Don't they make even dog food?
Against the grain, I think maybe.
I just swear they make canned dog food. Because when I was getting some for take, there's this, it's called Against the Grain. And why it reminded me of that is that's the name of Sam's radio show. Right? Right. So it
Oh,
just,
Bonnie says it's good. Bonnie says against the grain frozen pizza is a go.
right. So that's what I'm saying. We should try to find it. But I think they also might make pet food.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah. And there's no grains in it. And it's like pork meatballs and like just meat. But they call it Against the Grain because it's grain free.
Right.
So I wonder if it's the same company. It would make sense. I mean,
Yeah.
food grade, food grade.
Right.
See, yeah, rice is good. I like rice. See, that's what I'm saying. I'm not full keto. I would say I'm more of a ketovore, if anything, where I'm heavy meat. I do eat other keto, but I guess that's that intermittent bullshit, whatever they call it. There's so many groups now when you're keto, but yet you do eat rice and a few other vegetables, but yet you're not full carnivore. But they have all these food rules. Basically, I eat meat, cheese, and rice. Um, that's pretty much my main diet: meat, cheese, and rice. Because I'll choose rice over pasta 9 times out of 10.
Mm,
I love rice. You could do a lot with rice,
you
though.
could do a
Rice is
lot
like
with
the
rice.
Bubba Gump of the food world. You can make savory rice. You can make sweet rice. You can make
I
spicy
believe
rice.
this about
What?
I said, see, I believe that about soup.
Soup is also the Bubba Gump of the food world, but rice is too,
But
though.
rice
Think of all
is
the
too,
ways
though.
you
Think
can
of
make
all the ways
rice.
you can make rice. Yeah.
Think about what they do with
Think
rice
about what they do
flour.
with rice flour.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying.
Oh, speaking of, I just made yesterday for lunch. Okay, because here's the thing: I don't crave a whole lot of stuff
Right.
like I'm about to mention until I realize I can't have it, and then all of a sudden I need to have it like really bad, right? So like, I don't want a corn dog every day, right?
Right.
But then I suddenly realize if I do want a corn dog, I can't just go get a flipping corn dog. So
True.
it's like, well,
Unless it
shit.
was a Prado pup. Prado pups they make without wheat. It's all corn based.
You know, now it's like, well, shit. Now I want corn dogs. So I made gluten-free corn dogs yesterday. All beef gluten-free corn dogs. They were quite delicious.
Right.
I also made myself I made the whole family gluten-free sweet and sour chicken breaded
Right.
the other day. Freaking turned out really good. Like amazingly so.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was really, really good.
Oh, they make rolls and stuff too.
Oh yeah, man. They have tons of
Just
shit.
against the grain. They make rolls and mini bagels
Oh, nice.
and cake mix
Mm-hmm.
and country rolls, pita bread, baguette rolls.
Cool.
Yeah, they make a lot of crap, actually. And I did find out it is the same. That part is just called against the grain pet foods.
Ah, I see.
So it's the same company because they use the same logo. So I was like, but it makes sense. All meat has to be food grade, like human consumption grade. So the only foods I've seen them have are like duck, chicken, beef, and pork. So, and that's probably besides the duck, they put all that on pizza.
I'm sure, yeah.
Can't imagine. Yeah, I like broccoli too. I'll do broccoli or cauliflower. I like cauliflower.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I'll do that. I'll do some Brussels sprouts. I do vegetables though. I do vegetables. I do like vegetables. But I find that vegetables don't affect my histamines as much as other shit.
Right.
But I can't go without eating too much meat for too long either though. I learned my lesson the hard way trying to eat all vegetarian and shit. I got sick. Like no shade on anybody who is vegan or anything, but you can't be given the advice that everybody should go vegan because I'm telling you, I got really sick. Something like gluten free isn't gonna hurt somebody, but like veganism is, bro. Like it can hurt people detrimentally.
Right.
Like you can find carbs other ways besides grains.
Right.
Right. You see what I'm saying? But like not with this whole vegetable thing. They don't yeah. And then a lot of times the sad part is a lot of these vegans will probably end up detrimentally being gluten-free and or ending up with celiac disease. And I'll tell you why. Because think about what is the number one meat substitute replacement made out of?
I don't know. Soy?
No, think about what we're talking about.
I don't know because I don't. Oh, right. Yeah.
Gluten. Most of the meat substitutes like seitan and a lot of this like meatless crap, besides like impossible meat and all that shit, is gluten. Those, especially the ones you can make at home and like the fake vegan meats you can.
I thought most of it
No, tofu is soy. But like seitan is washed wheat. Basically, they wash wheat gluten a few times after like making a bread, and then when you cook that, it turns into it looks like meat. It even has the texture of meat, but you have to use washed gluten. And that's what these vegan people are telling each other to make everywhere. So I just see that end up being detrimental for their guts and for potential gluten intolerances, because they're going to be ingesting large amounts of gluten in the
Right.
raw form.
Right.
More raw
Right.
than more raw than what you would eat in bread, because it has other ingredients, so on and so forth.
The funk, that's all I'm saying.
Right? It's something to think about, though. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think people are thinking about that, but like,
I don't think people are thinking about that either, because I definitely wasn't thinking about that. But, and like I said earlier when we were talking, I have this theory now that I apply to everyone, which is I just assume that everyone is at least as smart as me until they prove me differently.
Right.
So, again, I'm kind of like, well,
True.
So I'm trying to. Sorry.
Yeah,
No.
I agree. Cruciferous veggies usually don't affect histamines much. Yeah, that's why I'm glad. That's probably why I'm naturally averse to tomatoes. I can eat tomato sauce, but I feel like when you cook it, it breaks it down. Like whatever
It does. It
histamine.
does distill the acids in it, and I know that for a fact because I am allergic specifically to the acids in tomatoes. But if it is cooked, I can tolerate amounts of it to a degree.
Right. See what I'm
Now,
saying?
as I'm
Because I
getting
feel like it
older,
breaks it down.
I can't tolerate it as much as I used to, but
Mm-hmm.
I can still tolerate it. Like ketchup, spaghetti sauce, anything that's cooked it.
Yeah.
Especially if it's cooked it for a long amount of time.
Right. Right. I just feel
So
like it changes the composition a little bit.
it does, absolutely, 100%. But we know this too from herbalism, because when you take herbs, for instance, okay, so hashtag Colorado Life with Red right now, because I'm going to make a marijuana lesson. So, apply fire to marijuana and it changes its entire composition.
You're right, though. You're right. You're right. You're right. And different amounts of heat affect different amounts of composition
Damn
too.
right.
If we're gonna
Damn
go
right it
for like
does.
using weed as the example, like if you extract at a lower level, you get a different product that has different stuff out of it. So temperature and shit does matter.
Right, exactly. Yes.
Like you don't decarb till a certain degree. So I
Exactly.
think it might be similar with like tomatoes, how like that acid kind of
Well,
breaks down and it's not as effective at. Because see, I was told years ago when I had like all my stomach issues that like I needed, because I had acid reflux and all that shit. I had like little small ulcers and like basically just like inflammation in my gut. And I was told to stay away from tomato products,
mm-hmm.
all tomato products, like caffeine, alcohol, and chocolate.
What they should have actually told you was to stay away from seeds.
Right.
Certain seeds. It doesn't have to be all seeds, but like the seeds such as like that are in tomatoes, for instance, or kiwis.
Right.
They should have told you to be staying away from those seeds.
Right. Which makes sense.
Yeah. So I mean that's just my take from what I've learned.
Right.
Children, go lay down.
You ain't never.
Oh, the dogs are worse than the actual two-legged kids. Like, they lay around all day. They don't do crap. They are just laying, being great all day long till mom gets on the phone. And then all of a sudden, they need to bark. They need to play. They need to run through the house. They need to attack the cats. The cats need to piss and moan and cry next to the phone so that mom knows that they're crying. Who have also been completely quiet all day with no problems. It's only when mom gets on the phone.
Party on air.
Yeah, it's party on air time. Because mom's on the phone. Yeah, I'm sure, Bonnie, because again, you know what went into them and you canned them. So, you know the cooking time, you know all of that,
Well, yeah. Then I mean, something about fresh. The taste ain't right for me. I can't.
Right?
That is real.
Well, me and you are the same with the cilantro thing. Like,
Yeah, bro. Cilantro ruins
we
everything.
are not cilantro haters. Listen, we very much want to like cilantro like everybody else, but it tastes like forking soap.
It does taste like dope.
It is a thing. It's an actual condition. Actually, it's a real actual thing.
It is.
Oh yeah, see? Plants do produce their own pesticides and seeds to keep pests away. So, it's pretty accurate. Scarlet could be a pest. She's not even here to defend herself now.
No, that's me.
I said it right as apparently she got booted or something. Oh, she's back. You missed my joke. It was pretty good.
Yeah. So I mean, the miracle of nature is a miracle.
So you missed my joke. Can
That
I
is your
say
joke.
it again?
Yeah, you sure can.
Okay. So Bonnie said plants do produce their own pesticides and seeds to keep pests away. And I said, well, that makes sense. Alicia could be a pest.
Holy shit. What happened?
We made dip and we made a bunch of other stuff. Mind your business. I am
We
on
are on
air.
air, right? Truth.
Man got me talking about shit. Okay. I was saying, so seeds to keep pests away. And then I was like, ha ha ha, ha ha. Scarlet could be a pest because, she was answering your whole thing about the thing making music. Yeah, that was my joke.
Oh, funny.
It does taste like soap, though. It does.
See, look, at least Bonnie's in our camp of soap. We're in the soap camp. Like I wish it could taste good. I'm sure it's great if it's good. Now, if I can't taste it and stuff, I have had it in salsa where it's decent, where it's like not overpowering
and
soap
it doesn't
flavor.
taste like soap, and I enjoy it.
Correct. But now everybody likes it so much though that people overdo it.
Oh, a lot.
A lot. And it's in everything, and it's in stuff it shouldn't even be in.
Mm-hmm.
You order something, all of a sudden there's cilantro in it. Why?
Right.
Awesome.
Dish doesn't even call for it, but it's in there. I'm trying to think of a good example of that where I've been like, where I'm like, why is cilantro in there? For what purpose? Like certain salads I've seen at places will add cilantro. For what?
Right. Why?
Why do I need cilantro in my salad? And it's not even like a, Southwest salad or something, you know what I mean? No.
Right.
It's like
yeah.
strawberry arugula salad with cilantro. No, why? Why do I need this?
Yeah. Or they're like, hey, let's make cilantro lime rice. And it's like, lime rice would have been awesome. And then you. What? We don't know what you're saying right now. No, man. You're a robot.
Underwater robot.
You're like an
2 minutes
underwater
ago.
robot.
I'm probably not sounding like a robot
There
to
you
everybody
are,
else
hi.
because you were just sound. I know, but you just 2 minutes ago were a robot for over 3 minutes.
Weird.
I know. They're zapping us right now. I don't appreciate it. I'll go back out and
No. You didn't. Why did she leave?
I'm gonna go back out and vanish.
It is a gross taste, BJ. Are you hearing on your end? Are either one of us sounding like a robot, or is it just on our own ends?
are we just getting the interference of the robot?
Right.
Yeah, because you were doing that and then I exited out and then came back and it was fine. But then now you said that I did it. So that's weird.
Mr. Roboto.
Sono
Mr.
arigato, Mr.
Roboto. We are such fucking 90s kids.
I know.
Just in case
True.
nobody listening thought you were serious, you just totally threw him off the trail.
What is Peanut Gallery saying?
He just said, well, if we wanted anybody to believe that we were ever serious, we totally just threw him off our trail.
Fair enough. We're no longer getting our partnership with Fox News. It's out the window. We have ruined our careers.
Oh, we are dead in the water. Dead ducks.
Dead ducks. I had a dead duck for dinner. It was delicious.
I know. You told me.
I didn't tell the listeners, so that's why I was sharing.
Oh, I know. Is it really genetic?
It is, actually. There is a gene for us, the people who don't like cilantro, that it is genetic why it tastes like soap to us. Yeah, I'm sure I've never asked if it's like a white gene or a black gene or if it's just a people gene. But
yeah, that's weird, right?
Isn't it a good question? Because like only I do. Huh, weird.
See,
and I even went out and came back in.
I'm not crazy. Hey, come back. Roboto. Oh, earlier I did. See, she said earlier I did.
Oh, yeah, see? So they are hearing that. So next time, if it does happen like that, just exit out real quick and go right back in the browser and it should reset it.
And you know what? I never thought about it, Bonnie, but I use the hell out of parsley. So yeah, I think I use parsley in place of cilantro too, because I use the hell out of some parsley. I mean,
yeah, you know what? That flat leaf parsley, yeah. And sometimes dishes will trick you and you'll think it's flat leaf parsley and it's the fucking cilantro. Yes, girl. The ultimate deception. You know what? They always call marijuana the devil's herb. That shit's the devil's herb because it sneaks up on you and be acting like a sheep in wolf's clothing.
Hey, what was that guy calling it? Jive parsley?
Jive parsley?
Wasn't that what he was calling it? Yes. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. We watched this show or this movie or something yesterday that the guy was calling it Jive Parsley. Oh, Space Force. We were watching Space Force and the guy was calling it Jive Parsley and I was laughing so hard. He was like, pass me some, let me hit some of that Jive Parsley. I was laughing so freaking hard. I was like, listen, I work in the Jive Parsley industry. Sounds so much cooler than marijuana. I'm just
saying, like, but if you want to call something the devil's lettuce, it's freaking cilantro. I'll tell you that.
Good. I'm glad. We are not cilantro haters. Like I said, we want to like cilantro. We really do. I mean, I wish I could enjoy it because everybody seems to find such pleasure in it. Yes, but that
So
is
I
why
too want to know what's so good.
yeah, right. I too would like to enjoy the cilantro and be on the cilantro train. Everybody else gets to enjoy it except me. It's kind of unfair.
I'm just saying.
Everybody else, ow! I'm gonna kill you!
What was that? A cat?
No, that was.
Don't go to sleep if that was a human.
That was Peanut Gallery stepping on my foot because he's a big ox ogre.
He is big though. I mean, to be fair. He do got big ass feet.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to yell in everybody's ear, but that shit really just hurt.
Well, he has giant feet. Okay, for
They
the
are
listeners.
gigantic.
Okay, so like 1 foot, yeah, 1 foot could take out your whole calf. Okay, so like I understand why she felt this way.
Dude, he took out like 4 toes.
I'm
I
sorry,
can't even
G.
move them.
Poor G.
I think one might be bloody. This is ridiculous. God.
They do say swearing helps.
I totally dislike your face.
I totally dislike your face.
Don't touch it. Just leave it alone. The damage is done. And this is what makes him a true ogre, because now he wants to fix what he's done, and the damage is already done. So all he does is just rub salt in open wounds. Lord Almighty, please give me patience. Because if you give me strength, I might murder my husband, drag him out into the middle of the woods, and bury him. Just saying.
Just getting some of my stuff together. All right.
Nice. So, Colorado life with red time.
Heard.
We are partaking in freak. I need light. I can't see crap and doodles. Ooh. Oh, I can't. Oh, ooh, it's garlic breath nug wax.
Ooh, I liked that garlic breath I had when I was at your house. That was good.
Those that are wondering. Yeah, right. He should have kissed it. I'm gonna make him kiss my
kiss it, make it better. Make it better, Jay. Kiss it, make it better.
But as I was saying, because now I need this garlic breath and nug wax to cure my pain levels.
True.
Douche monkey. I mean, it's not that hard, y'all. Don't be a twat waffle.
Right. Don't step on me while I'm on air. Don't interrupt me while I'm on air.
Right. Okay. It's just like, seriously.
We don't have that many rules about being on air. It's just like, don't step on me. Don't hurt me.
Right. But no, the piss trumpet has to make me yell. So this stuff is called nug wax. For those that are like, what the freak is nug wax? Because I was like, what the freak is nug wax, right? And
are they extracting from nuggets and not the shake?
Well, I work in the jive parsley industry. So I was a little like, what do you mean? Right? So
Right, because is it
upon
like little
investigating,
pieces of wax, or is it just made from the
no, it
nuggets?
really is pressed directly from nug. So there's no
Kind of like how
shade.
people do the hair straightener dabs, but at
Yeah.
a bigger scale.
Yes, probably.
You know what I mean? Because you can make hair straightener dabs where you just take one bud in between a
Girl,
hair
I ain't
straightener with some
never
wax
heard.
paper.
Well, okay, I've heard of it, but I ain't never done it. I ain't never been.
I
I ain't,
have, G. I have, and it does make a wax you
I
can
ain't never
dab.
been that ghetto.
No, that's not ghetto. That's called using the right heat tools. I don't have no heat plate press.
That's stoner ghetto, man.
No, it's not. I don't have a heat plate press. I don't have hundreds of dollars to buy the
See,
industry
I
products.
used a knife. That's what we used.
I mean, I get, but see, you got to get it. Nah, see, the hair straightener applies the right amount of heat on
We
both
used
sides.
knives, and we called them knife hits. Like that's
Now,
what we
those
did
were
back in the
different.
day.
Those aren't the same, though, because what this does is it just presses out like a legit wax out of the bud. Not
Right,
like
right.
resin. It's not dark. It's light like shatter.
Yeah, it is. It is like white. This stuff is like white.
Yeah, it's light shit. Like, I'm telling you, dude, like, I didn't believe this at first. I saw this for the first time like 4 years ago online, and I was like, they
Mhm.
lying. They lying. No one can do that. They're lying. Everybody would be doing it if that's the case, right? Right.
It takes a lot though. That's why everybody doesn't do it. It takes a lot. It
Well,
takes a
it
lot.
takes more time than anything because you just take one little bud at a time and do it. But the amount you get to actually make like a gram, yeah, it would take you a long time. Now, if
Yeah,
you were
yeah.
just doing it for like a hit or so, you could do it in 20 minutes.
Right. Hmm.
So you know what I mean. But it's still a neat idea because don't they extract the regular stuff from shake?
Yes.
So see, I
Yeah.
think that
Most of
that would
your
be
content actually it's worse than that. Okay, so um let me tell you all these dirty little secrets. Um Most of your extraction, guys. So most of your waxes and butters and even your diamonds and sauce.
now at least the diamonds and sauce and stuff they give you something that's a little stronger in it. At least that.
Okay, girl. Okay, hold on. No, they don't. No, they don't,
I said
dear.
little, at least little terp balls. You know what I mean? Like you get some
No,
flavor
no,
in it.
honey. Those are grown crystals that are grown on the same shit with a different name. All we did was sit and age it. That's all diamonds and
Oh, you're growing robot. They hate
mm,
you. They don't want to hear that. They have
they don't
decided.
hear that,
They have
right?
decided.
See, they can't
You came
just
back
leave
as soon as you were like, okay.
it. If I leave it, it's everything.
Mm.
I can't.
What the heck? You there, Ed? No? Oh, there you go. Okay, let's get you first you out of here.
Yeah.
Hold on. There.
Okay.
Yeah, no, and we want to teach. This is why we talk about this. It's not just to talk about cannabis, which we do like
Right.
talking about
No,
cannabis. Okay,
it
let's
is.
not lie. But
Right.
I just think
So,
it's
okay.
important for consumers to know because we
It
as
is
consumers
because listen, don't be
we're really
deceived.
misled. We too
You
were the
are.
consumers who didn't
You
know.
are. Because okay, let me break it down for you,
Even
okay?
you were, to be fair, till you got into the industry. Even you
Oh
didn't know.
yeah, absolutely. So let me tell you, okay? So So it starts off, okay, your concentrate usually is so when we harvest, when we pull everything down, when you hear me talking about busting my ass and I'm so busy and I don't have time for shit because I'm in harvest, right?
Right.
All of that junk that we pull off during harvest, that gets bagged up. That's what gets sent out.
So all the shit that falls off and and gets bounced off and whatever.
Yep.
So floor weed.
Some trim.
So floor weed and trim.
Unless, floor weed and trim. That's what you get. That's exactly, or what we call, and so now they're making this bud stuff, okay? And again, let's not be deceived because I don't know 100%, but I know how the jive parsley industry works.
Right.
So that being said, they can call it bud. But in the cultivation world, we're probably calling it bee bud, which means it didn't make the cut to sell as flower, and something was drastically wrong with it. Either it was way too tiny, or it was way too like spindly, or it didn't come in at a high enough ranking, or it had mildew, or
which that's scary. Because now you got folks smoking mildew.
Not if it's sold as concentrate.
Are you saying that once you heat it up, the mildew is gone?
That is supposedly
how it works.
Yes.
Right. This is how you. Right. Unless we take it to a lab and test it, we wouldn't know.
Right.
Because do they test after? You know what I mean? Like, do they know? Is there a final test after blasting?
Okay, you do have to have it tested. Yes, before we can send it out, it does have to be tested. So it is as far as testing all things going, by the time you get it on the shelf, it should be, unless somebody has drastically failed at their job or paid somebody off, it's past testing. So and it did have to go through that before it went to the consumer.
Right.
So, you see what I'm saying?
I do.
Now, you're getting the junk of the junk. And like I was saying to you about the diamonds and sauce, all the diamonds and sauce are, like I said, is the same thing. So what we do is we just take it and we age it until it forms crystals.
Yeah.
And then we scrape off the crystals and we put a thing and we call those diamonds. And then we add terpene drops and call it a sauce.
Right. Still trash.
Right. That they charge you out the bazung hole for.
They do. Now, to be fair, the first time I only tried it, like, I only paid $50. So to be fair, I got a good deal. But there are people selling it for like $80, and that's like normal.
Okay, listen. In my world,
this was years ago when it first came out. This was not recent.
I'm just saying, knowing what it's actually made of, it's not worth $15.
No. But like at the time, it was a good deal.
Dude, this shit sells right now, and I'm not gonna lie. I just bought this stuff, this garlic breath, nug sauce. Now I know
where you get that from.
That it was B rated somewhere.
Where?
You know what I mean?
Right.
I got it from the place 3D.
Oh yeah, I wanted to. Yeah, that's funny because tonight I talked to the guy who makes Purple Mountain, and he said 3D stopped carrying their stuff. But you know what's sad about that is I actually really liked it. So next time you go into 3D, tell them to carry Purple Mountain, G. Do that for me. The guy's really nice. I even like the guy.
A lot of shit.
I'm just letting you know.
Well, and it's harder now too because a lot of regulations changed up here, G.
He's been selling everywhere else though. They just stopped carrying it. But they had him on clearance when I was there, and now it makes sense why they had him on clearance when I was there. But they were actually really good. And they were 1 grams. They were good. Right. Trust me. And they had good strains in them. like good strains, not just no cheap crap that they put in a pack to have in a pack. It was good. And I talked to the dude tonight, and he's an RVer, and he lives in Moffat. So, with all that being said, I just say we should support local folks who actually are making a good product, and he highlights the valley on his product.
Cool.
Which nobody else in the valley is doing. It's like grown in the Mystic San Luis Valley, Purple Mountain. It's good shit. You see it, you buy it. Because he's really nice. His name's Brian. So I would just like to give him a shout out because I talked to him tonight and he was a very nice man. So if anybody gets a chance to buy Purple Mountain cannabis, I highly recommend.
Right. So I got that. I've got that. And then I've got some of this oh crap, I need my glasses. Sunday Driver.
Sunday Driver's good. I've had that in the past. That's decent. It's a nice mellow one. Isn't that a hybrid?
Sunday Driver. This Sunday Driver says that it is indeed a hybrid. Okay. Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Yep. I just remember it being a hybrid when I had it.
For those, though, I don't want anybody to be confused. Sunday is like Sunday, like ice cream sundae.
Oh, mine was SUNDAY Driver.
No. This is Sunday, like ice cream sundae driver.
No, I get what you're saying, but the Sunday
that you're talking about, right? I know. This is why I said I don't want it to be confused with the Sunday Driver straight. Because they are different. And this is popcorn. 9 shake. I didn't even do a cheap shaky this week, but I got a half ounce of this popcorn this week. $70. Can't complain about that. I mean, I guess you could, but there'd really be no point because you should. Boom. And there she is.
I'm back.
Welcome.
I lost my phone, lost its mind, and then I lost all signal. And
my phone lost its mind.
It was like glitching out, and then it lost all signal, and then I had to back up. But now I'm back.
Right.
So the reason why we're here tonight, we're not just here to BS with everybody, to be fair.
No.
We enjoy BSing with everyone. We are here to actually talk about some important things. Now, we all know we have not been on the air as much as we should. And in the next upcoming weeks, we're going to change that. Finally good. Oh, I'm going to be changing it. I can't speak for Red, but I'm going to be changing it. And we as a network have decided.
It's a maybe for everybody because there might not be a whole lot past the 22nd, yo.
Now, okay, we'll get into that because the one thing that I have been noticing that has been a consistent, a constant, I guess we could say this whole time is that I've been noting signs of the times that are starting to get so bad that they can no longer be ignored, that even the non-conspiracy theorists, if they actually sit down and put all of these things together, will not be able to deny what is happening and what is coming. Now, what my happening and what is coming is different from what Red is going to tell you about what's happening and what's coming, but they tie together. Because
indubitably, they're actually not different.
we're going to be telling you different things. Like, we're not going to be saying the same thing. Like, we are, but we aren't. You get my drift.
Right.
That's what I meant more by that. Like, we have two different perspectives we're going to bring to you under the same umbrella of problems.
Right.
And these things are only going to just tie together what's happening.
Right. That's
right.
Yeah. Important.
Yeah, that's the most important thing, because all of these things are just little threads that we're going to end up tying in a nice, neat little package when we're done. And we're going to try to do that the best we can. If we have to take more time, we will. So just play it by ear with us tonight, but because we've got a lot to pack through. And it's going to be an intense night, because this basically, for all the years we've been with you, at this point, we see this as the most critical time. Red alert. This is not a drill. And I've told you that this is not a drill, and we are in the big time, big show since 2020. Okay. I don't necessarily toot my horn, but toot, 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 toot. We were here in the early days of the pandemic, reporting before anybody else, and told you what was going to happen, what to get ready for, and what to ride out.
Right.
So basically, we feel that this is a crisis level event again. We need to come back and start talking about these things again.
Now.
Not under the context of the pandemic, but under a whole new scenario.
Well, it all ties together in the end.
Right. Yeah. But we're at a different stage. Basically, we're leveling up in this next situation.
Yeah. Yes.
We're moving. Yeah. Not that the other things go away, just a new layer. It's going to be added on top of what's currently occurring.
I can't confirm nor deny that.
Right. And we're not, see, that's what I'm saying. So that's why I'm leaving it open-ended, but we got to get that out. So that's the point. But this is actually really serious. And this is why we wanted to come on air, because we sat here and we thought about it. And I've just been seeing a lot of things lately that have been really big signs to me, just socially happening, weather-wise happening, space weather-wise happening, as well as other dates that we've talked about in the past that are now coming to fruition. Okay. So around the time of the Great American Eclipse, everybody remembers the Great American Eclipse? This was like 2016. Red and I were on air during that time.
Yeah.
And there was something coming that later on that summer called the Lionsgate portal.
Right.
Right. Okay, the Lionsgate portal
was also when they thought that we were being overtaken by, what was the name of the ship?
Oumuamua.
Yes, Oumuamua. And this is also when the cult killed themselves.
Correct.
Okay, just tying all that together. Sorry.
No, we need to tie all that together, because that brings people back to where we need to be. So this was during that time. So way back then. Oh shit, where was I at? Now I forgot what I was saying.
Sorry.
I know, because you knew you were going to do that, but I needed you to say that. But at the same time, what did I say before that? Bonnie, help me out. Because I got to get back to the timeline of where I was at. 2016. Oh, Lionsgate portal, Great American Eclipse.
Lionsgate portal. Yes.
Okay, so at that time, we were coming into the purple photon light belt. We knew that a lot of things were going to be changing. We also knew that there was coming up, like in 2017, a constellation that was going to be moving through. And it's a biblical constellation.
Correct.
And it was when the Virgin had the star pass through the womb.
Right.
Okay. Now, this goes and ties into Jewish cultures and Jewish feasts. Okay. So they said at that time that could be the start of the 7-year tribulation. Okay. That would need to happen after a few other dates came into effect and things happened on the right feast days. Those things did come to pass. We also found the red heifer calf in Israel since then. Okay,
There's been a lot of white calves born of a lot of different things, buffalo and so forth too. Just
that
as
is true. Yeah, that is true too.
As Scarlett and I do often, always remember that Scarlett and I look for things in threes, not pairs, but threes, because we want to see three things that back each other up. Because in three is a level of truth that for me, the three is like an infinity symbol. It to me that means that there is a level of truth there beyond a pair.
Correct.
Okay?
Right. And so during this time, we've seen all of these things come to pass, all these feast days and then major events preceding these feast days. For instance, in other feast days, we've had cycles where, and these are Shemitah cycles of 7 years in Jewish culture. We've had other drops like 2008, 2012 crash, and now we're on a 7-year Shemitah cycle year right now. Now,
Right.
there's a lot of people saying that from the time that the Virgin constellation has went through till now, at the next Passover, they are believing that they could see potentially even up and to the return of Christ.
Okay. Now
Yep.
that is see.
Yes. So that we have that. Now, one other, I'll explain mine first, G, because then I don't know what you have to say, but you know this will tie in. Now, for the last 90 days, there's a man named John Trasick. Okay, for the last 90 days, John Trasick has been covering, and he's also a pole shift researcher. Okay, he follows a lot of stuff from Laura Wells and Paul Begley and all the greats out there. Okay, but one thing he has really focused on for the last 90 days has been red sunsets. And I mean extraordinary red sunsets all over the world. During that time, we have also had an extreme shift and tilt of our planet. This extreme tilt of our planet happened last month, where we got moved 13 degrees off of our axis. And
close, Bonnie.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, Virgo. Yeah, there she goes. Yeah, it was the constellation Virgo. And it had, I believe, I'll find the meme that has the star while Red's talking, and I'll clue everybody in. But this is just from memory, like what I know in my head has been going on for years. Now, to have the red sunsets, we know of the pieces in the Bible that tell us, when we start to see signs in the sun and the moon and in the stars, we're starting to see 40 Starlink satellites fell out of the sky due to electromagnetic current. We've been having extreme electromagnetic storms where our shields have basically been weak. We just got hit by something the other day that we've never gotten hit by before and do not know how that is going to translate on Earth. And this isn't just like your regular M-class, X-class flare. Like, this is something different.
Well, yes, because what we are about to experience on 02/22/2022 is about to be completely outrageous.
Well, and there's been some other people that Paul Begley has had on recently who have, interestingly enough, that you picked that day, have also claimed this day as a potential day of maybe like the beginning of the end, so to speak.
Okay, well, this is because we are about to have a very big spike in a very specific energy. So let's start with the date, right? 02/22/2022. The first thing that is obvious is what? 2, right? There's a lot of forking 2s. And there's no balance to the 2s because the only thing there with the 2s is what? 0. No other number. So when we start looking at that on a spiritual level, okay, So let's reference it. And as an angel number, it references your soul mission or your divine purpose in this human experience. Okay. Then it's associated with trust, love, and faith. When we look at it, yes, Bonnie. Yes, absolutely. What? What? Oh, did you go off to send me this? What is this? She sent me a bunch of stuff. Ooh. She probably sent it to me so that she can read it when she comes back. I'm gonna guesstimate that's why. Yes, okay, but it very trigger event. Bonnie, wait till we really start delving into that. Where is she? Okay. And not really. Hold up, pause. Okay, sorry guys. I don't my phone went completely crazy. Scarlett is coming back. She's just taking a second. Now, well, what? Now, let me get back at this here. So, it's associated with trust, love, and faith. But when we take to kingship and the is the land. Now, it's presented by X. This shows power of discipline and pause or duality. Sorry, it booted me out. Well, that's not right. I don't know why it would be here under that. Let's remove. And let's, okay. There we go. What do you mean by FF? Now, number 2, the number 2. Am I still Roboto or am I not now? Let me know. Because my phone's crazy. I don't know. It's been a little crazy. Still? Okay, good. Now, the number 2 is both odd and even. She is referred to as the mother of all things, or the origin. Number 1 is the father or the cause. Now, remember, we're just looking at the number 2 right now because of how prominent it is in this date sequence of 02/22/2022. Dude, I've had a hard time too. It's booted me, and I've been a robot, and it's trying to prevent this information that we're getting right now.
Right. If I have to, I can figure out a backup way. So just give me a second.
Okay. So, now, the number 2 shows the angels as well, who record all things good and evil according to the Quran 50-17. Rakhes or Raquib, which records all good and is on the right. And then Atid, which is on the left and records all the bad things. This book, also known as the Book of Life, is only open on the Day of Judgment, also known as Mankar the Denied and Nakar the Denier. And yet, another one of the religions. These 2 come to you upon death, and they ask you 2 very important questions. And those are, how did you acquire your wealth? And number 2, on what did you spend that wealth? The number 2 also equals, according to biblical statements, the 2 golden rules. The first being that Lord is number 1, and you shall love him, your God, with all your heart. And 2, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. Mark 12:28-31. Now, that would be the 3 that line up all together. So, keeping that in mind, there were 2 pillars built by King Solomon for his God in Jerusalem. Boaz on the left and Jachin on the right. They are to represent the duality principle of 2. Hello. Everything is created in pairs. Everything contains female and male aspects of nature. Now, the number 2 is strongly associated with the moon. Astrologically, remember that the moon governs our subconsciousness, our dreams and habits. The moon represents our hidden emotions and our feelings. The things that you want to keep to yourself kind of stuff. The stuff that you don't share with just anybody and everybody kind of stuff. Now, second governing house in Taurus, which represents the abundance of resources, fertility, and strong intuition. Second house of Aquarius. Right. And you're going to want to keep your own info like that you know off the top of your head very close, because the stuff that we are talking about tonight is going to very much tie into stuff like that for you on a personal level, and what's about to go down on 02/22/2022. Are you there, Scarlett? Are you still there?
I am.
Okay, good. I'm glad we didn't
Hi,
leave you.
Darren. We love you,
Now,
Darren.
aw. The moon is also a feminine energy. So the moon is also represented by the water element, which makes how it affects tides and like everything. So shocker. But this also reflects emotions, feelings, and feminine and divine nature. Hostility and cruelty and stagnancy can be the other side of 2. With the date being 02/22/2022, this has no other corresponding balance. So, that all being said and taken into account, we need to look at Pluto and what we know of Pluto. And we need to take a look at Pluto on many levels because, when you say Pluto, many things can come to your mind. Pluto, the god, for instance, could come to your mind. Well, yeah, we got to look at him. We got to look at Pluto from a spirituality standpoint. Pluto, the planet, can come to mind, which we absolutely need to be looking at right now because his ass has been all moving up into our shit since 2008. And that's about to be a really big problem come 02/22/2022 for us as a nation and individuals.
Which is only 2 days away.
It is. And this is why it was important to do this show tonight, because I feel like this message was brought forth and I felt very much like, oh shit, we only have 2 days to get the message out there. So we have to do this.
Right.
You're going to be an emotional hot mess. And you're probably kind of an emotional hot mess leading up to this day. So, I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
See, I'm an Aquarius. I have multiple Aquarius in my big three.
So Pluto represents the renewal and rebirth. It's the renewal and rebirth planet, showing endings and new beginnings. Negative statements is the desire for power, control, and just overall destructiveness in general.
When's your birthday, Casimiro? My birthday was Friday.
Overall destructiveness in general. Like, please keep that in mind. Please keep in mind that Pluto was already a fan of destruction at the gate.
Right. He is like a destroyer. So.
Right. Like, Pluto really would rather destroy you than deal with you.
Correct.
Yes, I love it. That is perfect. I love that whole thing. I love everything you're doing with that, Bonnie. So.
Well, happy belated birthday, Casimiro.
Right?
You just went robotic, G. Hold on, G. You went robotic. Slow down. Sometimes it doesn't like to pick it up unless you talk really slow. Try that. Or maybe she's going to go back out and then back in. So this is a really important show. But we're going to be looking into some more streaming platforms just because we have been having so many issues. So hopefully this is just going to be a temporary problem because Tim gets censored every time he goes live. So we've got to find a way to make this better. And for a long time it was great, but as of recently, I don't know, it's because they've added so many features lately. Like, we've gotten like a lot of new features, and that, I mean, maybe could be, but we usually don't have that big of an issue, not like this. We've been able to do mobile pretty well. Now, I have a boosted signal, and I am using mobile data, but like I said, I usually don't have an issue even when I do a show. It's usually not this bad. But it's pretty bad. But I mean, they've added a lot of new things, like, for instance, like this. You know, so I mean, like, they've added new things. Yeah, me and Tim are going to do a UFO show because he's got that gal who wants to talk to me about her experience. So I've just got to talk to him about that because we just talked the other day when it was my birthday. Oh, because Mr. Tire's going to get a new job doing tires again. So he's Mr. Tire again, y'all.
Hmm.
He was Mr. Construction for a while because he wasn't Mr. Tire anymore.
Right.
But now he's going to be Mr. Tire again.
So Pluto is mission driven by his emotions. And it takes Pluto 248 years to orbit its zodiac, and it takes him 12 and 31 years to pass through each zodiac sign.
Right.
He is ruled by Scorpio and the 8th house.
Oh, hell. We would
Pluto,
get somebody all erratic like that.
Yes. Now, Pluto represents conscious evolution and complex transformation. He is life and death. He is the god of the underworld. As above, so below. He rules sex and money. Pluto's position affects how we as individuals interact with one another.
Interesting. How do you know this, Bonnie? This is fascinating, but continue.
I see this.
Right? Because that could come into play later on, or just as you're talking about Pluto and its connection to these countries. Like we could almost create a horoscope for the countries based on the interaction with Pluto.
Right.
Right. Anyway, continue.
Pluto tends to make us very manipulative if we do not take heed of him. Pluto does allow us to remain stagnant, but will ask of us to redeem ourselves in the process, becoming stronger in the end. Being ruled by Scorpio also abides for secret shadow side of Pluto that's often associated with major change.
Oh no.
Remember, by
Where's the
myth,
link?
right? I don't see it. I was just going to say that.
I know. Did you post it on D Live? Did you post it in the YouTube chat?
Right.
Are you,
By myth,
I know you still have a mod in the YouTube chat. Maybe I got to go over to the YouTube chat.
maybe.
I want the link because that's great. Because that makes a lot of sense. Because Aquarius would be Russia. Because Aquarians are out here like I don't care, and I don't give a fuck, and I don't care what anybody else thinks. I'm a free thinker. I do what I want. And so does Iran, and so does Syria. To be fair, I mean Sweden. I guess they're a wild card. They're kind of just the aloof. They're the aloof one, the aloof side of the Aquarius, where they're just like aloof, like we're Sweden, we're here. And then Ethiopia. I mean, that's the wild side of Aquarius, I guess, where they'd be like going buck wild and shit, like because Ethiopians is crazy. So, but that kind of makes sense.
Right.
Continue.
Now, remember by myth that Pluto kidnapped Persephone and kept her in the underworld as a prisoner for 6 months. When he released her is when we experienced summer and spring above on Earth. Pluto's shadow side is traumatic, cruel, obsessive, extreme destruction of jealous, vengeful power, driven, leading up to even death. Pluto tends to trigger your survival instincts. such as your need to protect your home, your family, your country. And fundamentally transforming the world. People pulling together during a disaster to save whoever they can, risking their own lives in the face of violence and oppression to save the ones and only the ones that mean the most to us, is how Pluto rolls. Pluto welcome back.
All right. Yeah. Try posting it again, Bonnie, because you weren't. I don't know why you weren't a mod, but now you are. And a few of you other guys who are in here, who I all know you guys are good friends of the channel. Pretty much everybody in here is a good friend of the channel. So I modded you guys just because we always need more mods, just in case. Because you guys tune into all the other shows, and I'm not always on the other shows, so I appreciate it. So thank you.
So Pluto feels as though he causes traumatic change, but he was operating in the background on low speed the whole time. Planetary wise, Pluto governs power itself. This encompasses struggles between individuals and countries for domination and power. Examples of this influence. This means times that Pluto has gotten close to us, but not actually on us, right? So just like when he's gotten within our like planetariness, but not actually in alignment with us, right? Just being close, like the energy. What Pluto has caused historically. Okay.
All right.
Is where was I? I'm sorry.
Pluto historically.
Yes. The influence of racial prejudice in the United States and the civil rights movement, nationalism of Germany during Hitler's reign, as well as North Korea despots. These are all things that happened just with Pluto being close to the United States, specifically in alignment. Okay. Right. Now, another keynote is that they discovered Pluto in 1930. This coincides with the Depression and rising fascism of the time. This shows the intensity and depth of truth associated with him as a planet and what is about to take place come 02/22/2022.
I like it, G.
When Pluto is around, it means you keep the cards against your chest. You trust absolutely no one, and you tell even less about anything you are planning. Astrologically, Pluto in the 8th house only cares about the most intense emotions and experiences, only the ones that will transform us. Pluto will urge us to find the hidden and enter forbidden territory. We are going to see this in relation to secret societies, spirituality, the occult, and sexual taboos.
Okay, so let me bring that up. We're going to stop right there. Okay, so let's talk about this new controversy that's all over the internet, at least on Facebook and at least in the people that I know. Okay, currently there is a whole debate, okay, like line drawing, friendship ending debate, because apparently there was a book that was created by a brand partner of Young Living, which just means somebody who sells Young Living oils.
Right.
Who wrote a book about how you can use like the power of like manifestation and like with God, like using the power of manifestation to like your best ability to like help your life and like move yourself forward, and like learning these tips and tricks, right? Basically like the secret, but with like oils, right?
Right.
Okay, well, now we've got a bunch of people who I guess I can call them holy rollers now because that's how they're acting, who are like holier than thou people who are
I
like
hate
that.
that term, though. I really do.
They're acting like this though because I'm going to tell you why.
Fanatics. When we call them fanatics.
No, they're holier than thou because they act like they're holier than I am. So like, no, that's holier than thou is a good way. Because I'm gonna tell you why. Because they are literally saying that if you sell or use Young Living oils, that you are now blasphemous and against Jesus. Okay. And that manifestation is a crime against Jesus. Okay. And using your God given talent, I guess, or learning how to harness this talent that has been in the universe forever, the hell even Jesus used, now somehow is wrong. I mean,
Oh my
hell,
God,
Jesus.
this is so going to tie in even more as we get more into depth with this, just saying.
This is
So,
why
yes.
I'm going to bring this up. See, this is why I said when we talked about this earlier, I was like, hold up, because something has just not felt right to me lately. And then now we have went to this where people are literally calling people out and saying, you're not for Jesus. If you even have Young Living oils, not even if you bought the book, read the book, lived by the book, which no one's actually seen the book who is talking about this, to be fair. And because I guess Mary Young, who owns Young Living, wrote a foreword in the book, supposedly like now that means that Young Living endorses it. People write books all the time and have their friends write forewords and certain things. That doesn't mean that the company endorses it. Like, that doesn't mean that the company endorses it. That doesn't mean that she was giving her stamp of approval.
I know people that write their own books and then become their own publishers to publish them. So, yeah.
I mean, hell, okay, so like a friend of mine, one of our former hosts on the old network, Freedomizer, Michael Hull, he wrote a book. I'm mentioned in the book. Okay,
Right.
Does that mean that everything in the book I agree with? I've never even read the book. He didn't even tell me until afterwards I was in the book.
Right.
Till it was published, and he was like, "Oh yeah, by the way."
Which kind of technically is illegal, homie. Just saying.
Well, it's just a forward in the thank you. You know what I mean? Just thanking me as a person.
Right. Okay. See, that's cool. I thought you meant like in the book, because I was like, if he wrote about you as like a character in the book and didn't tell you about,
No. Just as like in
that's
the book
kind
in
of
the
illegal,
beginning as like a
homie.
thank you. No, as like a thank you, like for just
That's
being there
cool.
and supporting him and believing in him, and being,
Right.
station manager for all those years.
That's cool.
So it was cool. But does that mean that I support every single word that's written and is every single opinion mine because I supported this person in life? Absolutely not. And so we have to start drawing the line to understand that. But people are losing it. And like I said, are just basically saying you ain't for Jesus. If you believe that you can manifest, if you believe that you can take the power into your own hands. But here's my thing, my last little comment on it as we continue forward. What matters is intention. And I'll tell you, and what type of intention. If you have the intention that you yourself are a God and you are higher than the Lord and God himself, no, then that is absolutely blasphemous. But if you feel that you're a child on the Most High and you're a child of the Lord and you are doing this, or you believe that you're a spiritual being that is in sync with the Creator and not above the Creator, that's not blasphemy. That's
To be a
asking
part
what's
of
the difference between that and a prayer? There isn't any.
to be a part of the Creator is not blasphemous. That's exactly what he tells us
No,
we
but to
are.
say you are higher than the Creator is, or that you're
Right,
exactly
right,
equal to is, because we know that
right.
that is not true, that there is a
No,
higher
no,
power.
no.
You see,
We are created within His image, and
correct.
He has given a piece of Himself unto each one of us.
But that does not
And
make us him.
we are a part of the Creator, the same as a drop is a part of the
Well, it's
ocean.
the same as like a child. Like your child
Um,
is a part of you, but you are not your child.
right, right. And you are not above where He was, for without Him you would not be.
Yeah, see? So that's the whole thing. So it's the intention. So as long as your intention is, I am using this as a guide tool, because like I said, what would be the difference between saying I'm trying to manifest something or asking God for help or a prayer? There is no difference. When somebody prays, please save my loved one, that is trying to manifest a new outcome, correct? Yes. So
Right,
people need to cut the shit. So
right.
that's my whole thing about that, because people are literally losing their minds
And people really
on the
need
book right
to
now.
stop, and people really need to stop getting hooked on words, because half of
Yeah.
the time you guys are hooked on the word and you don't even know what it means.
Well, and then they're judging people now. And then they're
And
going by the Bible strictly.
a prime example, which we've talked about, and I just dealt with recently, people thinking the word OPEC meant clear,
Right.
which, by the way, it does not. But because somewhere there is an entire industry that believes that means clear.
Oh, you're going robot, Red. Try to maybe go a little bit. Like I said, it doesn't like when you talk fast. It likes slow.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I do, because now you got all clear. I'm telling you, the freaking StreamYard hates when we talk fast, and we talk fast. So it hates it. But when you talk really dumb slow, it seems to want to let you listen.
So it's
Well, and see, that's the whole point. Like, but people forget, if you even want to go by people get hung up on doctrine, Bonnie, they don't get hung up on doctrine because they're not following the doctrine, because they claim that they're going by the Bible. But the Bible also says, when we went over the First Corinthians with the love is patient, love is kind, literally the next verse, 14 after 13, is the gifts of prophecy and tongues.
right.
And it talks about how, if you're prophesying, you're edifying the church. If you're talking, like literally having this conversation, Red and I are doing, we are supporting the church and preaching the gospel, because our gift is prophecy. We can see patterns and say what's coming next. And the Lord says, you need to do these things. If I come to you and speak in tongues, or have the gift of healing, or who can help people, or who are leaders, or who can speak in unknown languages, are we apostles? Are we prophets? Do we have the power to do miracles? When you think about he's saying this, how is manifestation blasphemous? This is in the Bible.
Right.
People have just not read their word, because if they want to take it literal, how much more literal can you take that?
Right.
That is basically saying, these things, does everybody have these abilities? No. But will individuals have these abilities? And should we try to look into these abilities and then hone these abilities of which we are given? Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. But there is something for everyone. So people need to stop coming at people, okay, and start thinking like adults.
Right.
Okay, because they're really thinking like children here is thinking that, oh, that's blasphemous. But who are you to tell what is blasphemous to someone else? The Lord
Well,
judges people.
this is where this energy from Pluto is tying in, because he feels, he being Pluto, feels change is the only guaranteed thing because life is impermanent.
Mm-hmm.
Now he upholds the die many times before you die, but emerge a new person in every process.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he will be in the position to thrust change upon us if we, in fact, refuse to accept our deepest needs. This is a rarity. Now, we need to look about the date, and that is the conjunction on the United States of the planet Pluto.
Dun, 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 dun.
Will officially begin, or did officially begin, yesterday on February 19th of 2022 at 10:22 p.m.
Oh, no.
Now, we saw the effects of Pluto the hardest in 2020. This is because he came within a degree or less of the United States, and that was the effect then.
And we all know what happened.
They were widely felt.
Got locked up, they won't let us out.
On,
They won't let us out. Got locked up.
on 02/22/2022, it will complete the conjunction. That means Pluto will literally be in complete and utter alignment and over the top of the United States.
And this is bad. You want to know why this is bad? Because we also have a pole shift coming in less than 1 year, which means that his ass is going to be on top of us at the same time the goddamn pole shifts. Not cool. Not cool. Just saying.
Right.
Continue.
So,
that's just like a whole nother layer. And we have Planet X moving in too.
The last time Pluto was upon us in such a way, we were literally born as a nation. July 4th, 1776, when we signed our Declaration of Independence.
How convenient.
Empires are built. They rise and then they fall, or they are reborn. Rome fell when Pluto conjuncted with us before. Conjunction when we were born from Pluto. So now, what does it mean to bring with its return for this empire it birthed during its last?
Exactly. Does it destroy us? Does it rebirth us?
No.
What does it do?
No matter the politics of any of this, facts remain that collectively, as a nation, we will have to see ourselves in the mirror since our birth. Now think real hard about that for a second. We are seriously, collectively as a nation, going to have to face ourselves in the mirror and see the reflection from birth till now.
Which that's a really loaded statement, because if we're going like through everything that the United States has been through, that could be a lot. We have a lot of dirty secrets as a nation.
We are.
So if all of that starts falling out.
We are, in fact, speaking on that exact thing, Scarlett, because I'm not saying he's like in alignment with Earth. He's specifically laying over the United States of America.
Right.
He is in specific alignment with us, right? Well, about to be. He's like slinking in. He's been slinking in since 2008. So we've been feeling energies as he's been slowly rolling in closer and closer and closer. 2020, 2021, now 2022. He lands on top of us at the beginning of the year. Do we see where we're going with this, guys? Okay.
Like I said, 1 year away from a pole shift. We're having extreme solar energy. Like I said, something literally just popped the other day off the sun that we've never seen.
Right.
Let's see. I'm going to try to post as much as
Probably
I can.
Related to.
It probably is.
Yeah, you got it. You got it.
Oh, did I? Good. Dope. Yeah, the only thing that it didn't post was like Dr. Scove. There's one above that. Yeah, but that Tamitha Scove was talking about Elon Musk Starlink. That's the last sentence. So we didn't miss much. It let me almost post everything. But this happened. There was a massive eruption from the sun on February 15th. Of over 3.5 million kilometers of solar activity warning issued for Earth. This is the largest solar prominence eruption from the sun ever captured in a single image, as experts warn of an increase in solar activity. The record-breaking prominence appeared on February 15th, and according to European Space Agency, it's extended millions of miles out into space. Space weather expert Tamitha Scove explained on Twitter that this week's solar prominence is another example of how the sun's activity ramping up as we approach the maximum of the current solar cycle 25 since the records began in 1755. First, we got an Earth-directed solar storm knocking down Starlink satellites. Now, a massive far-sighted eruption is raising the eyebrows of the Parker Solar Probe operations teams. Surely these hint at solar cycle 25 ramping up. Now, why this is interesting is that if Pluto has like this magnetic pull, and it's over Earth, right? But it's over also us, USA specifically. What if just even astrologically or even planetarily, there could be a pull from it?
Well, see,
this pull is now perturbing us.
Right. And that's part of this, because we're going to have to see if we rise or fall. If we actually will be birthed into a new era of freedom and clarity or not.
Right.
Okay. February 2nd or February 22nd, 2022 was also February, not 2022. February 22nd, just as a FYI side note, right, was also Washington's birthday.
Oh yeah, isn't that on Tuesday though?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, tomorrow's President's Day. I was trying to think of what's tomorrow that's not Tuesday. So tomorrow's President's Day. Tuesday is Washington's birthday. Correct.
Right. Tuesday is Washington's birthday. So, also coincidence? I don't think so. So.
Right, because it goes back to the signing of the Declaration of Independence. And isn't that interesting that one of the founding fathers, Pluto would come back conjunct with that.
Right, correct. So, believe or not, our founding fathers did believe in divine and the guide thereof. It would be unintelligible of us to believe that they would look beyond just strictly human logic and understanding in their own revolution. By logic and reason, they could never have won against the British Empire. Yet here we are, and they sure as shit did. This is why we believe in equality and basic human rights as given by the divine, not state or king. Boom. Right there. That's some intense shit, guys. Okay. These are still supposed to be our nation's cornerstones, and our motto being, "In God we trust." We even transcribe this on our own currency. Are our cornerstones strong, or are they crumbling? This is revolutionary, even for Pluto. As our country is the first on record recorded history to be born of Pluto and still be intact upon his return. He can revisit the ideals, and we will either be renewed or subdued. We will either switch from light to dark quickly, and it can happen very quickly. The same army is still here. They just changed their names. We now know them as Deep State, Cabal, private banking corporations, technology, an empire that shut down all of its citizen-based businesses for over a year while feeding the corporate giant. The time without concern. This same empire placed its people under some pharma to control what appears to be designer viruses, but will deny basic need health care for greed. This most children could use the
Robot.
Mm.
I know, they're hating on you.
Ooh. Still.
That came out. There we go.
Okay. No longer a robot.
No.
Am I here?
Yep.
You are. Right?
Yep, you're back. Can you hear me? No, you cannot hear me.
Interesting. Am I here now?
Yes. And now you sound good.
Okay, good.
But now you're not rubato. So yeah, I don't know what that's why I said we might have to find something different, man, because this whole rubato thing, it happens to Dwayne a lot, but it could be our internet connections, but it is optimized for mobile. So it's hard to say, but there's not much either one of us can do about it right now because I just can't afford to get internet at my new house. And until I can do that, I'm kind of
Right.
So, but what we could do if it keeps getting bad is I could maybe try to rig something up, but continue.
The time without concern. The same empire placing its people under thumb for big pharma to combat what appears to be designer viruses, but will deny basic needed health care for greed. The same empire that is forcing its people to mask mostly the children could it be due to the rebreathing of carbon dioxide, which stunts healthy development and growth. Did you all know that our founding fathers had only 5% approval to help them fight? So they say that they want making them then have to live up to the words on the parchment that they were signing, equality and rights of all human beings as given by the divine. The British, though, they're not so quick to give up, right? So they just gave up infiltration for invasion through the central banking system. Also, side note and noteworthy, the central banking system instituted in London, England, is, however, its own entity, separate from the rest of the country, kind of like the district to the United States and say the Magna.
Oh crap, we lost Red. Red is back.
Rulers.
I know, they're rude. Back, Red?
Right, it was. What?
I said you back, Red?
Yeah, I've been back. Has nobody heard me?
You dropped out, it just came back.
We, of course, expect that Pluto doesn't move on. This will linger. 3 energy spikes are expected in 2022. The first one will be the 22nd of February. The next one will be the 11th of July, and the last one will be December 28th. as I said before, Pluto has been creeping on us since 2008. And most recognizably, we have felt his presence in 2020. Which was when we had the first major signs of his impending arrival. Now, make no mistake, history is about to be made again. But it's only ever written by the victors. And that, through history, shows us that this Pluto transit will signify either the death or the rebirth of this United States. It will require a victory in a second American Revolution for this nation to be reborn. So, for this has remained a spiritual and informational war. It hasn't creeped into physical yet.
Yeah. But it has in Canada shit. If it's over the USA, it could be over like Canada too.
Right. And not once has it required of us citizens to take up arms against our brothers and sisters yet.
That's true.
The convoy in Canada is a prime example of peaceful, new, revolutionary tactics. There are battles of this war we are not privy to. Behind the scenes, present and past, these will ultimately determine the outcome of the revolution. Nothing will escape this revolution, including medical and energy industries.
This is why we called ourselves Freedom Revolution Network, because we felt like something was going to happen where we were going to need a freedom revolution. No bullshit. That's literally how I came up with the name, because I just felt that something was telling me this in September of 2019. And so that's why we named it Freedom Revolution, because I felt we were going to need a wave of freedom in revolution form to get our freedoms back.
Right.
That's legit why. And listen to this. I mean, and how would I have known without just tapping into the energy in September of 2019 this was going to occur this way?
Right.
We all knew we were going to need to fight, but we never thought it'd be this soon or like this.
Right. Okay. Now, I believe, as do many others, that this second revolution truly began, and we might lose some people here, so I apologize. Okay. But it truly began with the announcement in 2015 of Trump for president. The backlash of the empire was massive on a severe corporate, media, and political establishment level.
That's true. That is true.
And it was backed by big business.
That's true.
As the whole world, minus the actual voters, apparently, were against his win. And it started a tidal wave of radical shock through the entire system. As before, the empire split, regrouped, and found another way to regain its lost power, using everything they could, including now the medical and science fields. Somehow, in 2020, the elected leader obtained the most votes in United States history.
That is true.
Pluto will not fully complete his revolutionary transit until 2024.
Oh, shit.
So we have suffering and tumultuous times before us. There are those out there still showing that the 2020 vote was stolen in the battleground states, and that Hillary faked the Russian collusion information, and that
Well,
the
we know that
previous
for the Steele dossier, which we
and the,
covered.
right and the
That
previous
alone proved a lot of like underhandedness, power moves, some of this energy that you're talking about. Because when you think about what the Steele dossier was, is everybody was selling it to everybody, but yet everybody knew at the top levels it was fabricated information. Yeah, if you can get out, buddy, it's always time. You can get you an RV and pack up Sherman and your kitty.
there are still those, yes, because there are still those out there proving too that the previous administration prior to Trump was not only aware but complicit with Hillary's faked Russian collusion. And if laws of our nation were to actually be followed, the current administration would be considered deeply compromised, to say the least. This is all going to be faced regardless if we like it or not. It can't be stopped. It can't even be slowed down. No matter what you think or thought of Trump, despite what you believe of him, so much deception has now been forced onto the general populace around him, and the powers that fought him so hard created such a wave in the energy that now collectively we will have to face a reckoning of actual truth and light. The storm is upon us collectively. So collectively, we need to prepare as we are or will be officially thrown back into 1776, like it or not. Judgment is at our door. Judgment of our nation is inevitable at this stage. The sacred principles on our Declaration of Independence have yet to be completely instituted to a world system. So we will find ourselves having to determine if we are of the 5%, determined on a divine win, or if you will be a part of the 95% that will simply comply. Historical victories do not happen every century. Sometimes they take 248 years to complete them. To those in support of tyranny over our freedoms, purposefully or not, the game's on, guys. Not many structures were even built to survive this storm. Collectively, we will have to envision a better system with a firm reliance on divine providence. The old ways dominate racism, socialism, divisionism, devicism, the ism card period point the division and separation. We must strive for universal consciousness, our nuclear detonation to the political agenda of the world. In 1776, Pluto was here and he planted this seed, and a nation was born. And it's grown. And now the gardeners returned to tend to the seed and mind the garden. We like to look for very physical things to show us proof of these things. But what we fail to understand is that sometimes it's not necessarily a physical. So, for instance, biblically, when we speak of Christ returning, everybody expects that Christ is going to just walk back on the earth. Well, those that believe that, right. They just think like he's going to physically be here again, right? Mass majority. The thing that I think nobody's thinking of, right, is that he's not going to return physically, but rather his consciousness is going to return. Since this consciousness is unity and not the divisional consciousness we have been a part of until now, this can explain the blatant disregard of it. A world truly of Christ unity consciousness would be paradise, part of the paradise or Garden of Eden we were disconnected from so very long ago. We have to go through the dark to get to the light, slavery to attain freedom, even biblically. Judgment Day seems fast approaching, and unity needs to be our cornerstones of foundation now, for our governing base is crumbling. I know it's a lot to absorb, to understand, and to take in, but we are all out of time now, brothers and sisters. The moment of truth and reflection is now upon us. When the past becomes so present, there can be no future. You just remain stagnant with your past. Pluto's alignment coming over us the way that it is, and being birthed under him, and being the first on unrecorded history to still be an empire or nation born of his seed remember that Pluto, being the god of the underworld, so above is below. The tree of life is the tree of judgment, just reflected, so below as above. Pluto will come to reflect upon the seed that he planted, the nation that bloomed and birthed under him. And to what does he find upon this return? What?
I said a nation in shambles.
Well, we went through a lot of it. A nation that has shut down its citizens' businesses for an entire year while feeding the big corporations.
True.
An empire requiring unjustly things of its citizens. It's not good. It's not. And what's about to transpire is actually, at least on my level, spiritually quite scary. Yeah. Because from what I see and I research, oh man, Pluto don't play around.
I know. It's actually really scary what is setting up right here. Like I said, there's a few pastors who believe like the end times and potentially like the people who say Jesus is returned, but they're picking dates such as like, the beginning of the end, 222. And, I was hearing that about Paul Begley with his people. Paul Begley wasn't saying
even
what
know
the people
that.
he had
I didn't
on
even
was
know
saying
that.
it. Mm-hmm.
I didn't even know that. I had no idea.
I didn't bring that up to you.
Yeah, I had no idea about that until you brought that up. And then I was like, what?
I know, which makes it even more concerning. And like I said, just with the stars and with the setup for like I said, this year's Passover, according to when the Virgin constellation will pass through the womb on September 27th, 2017. Like now we're at the point where this would be the 7 years after, and we could start seeing like the fruits of this start popping out. And then when you say that it has to do with Pluto, well, damn, we're going to see some fruits pop out, but is it from what we think it is?
Well, like I said, this is a revolutionary thing even for Pluto.
Right.
Because again, on recorded history, we will be the first nation, empire, whatever you want to call us, to have been born under Pluto and still be here 248 years later upon his return. That's good. That's pretty epic right there. Realizing too that a lot of things that happen interesting. A lot of things that are happening right now are directly a result of this Pluto energy. Like Yeah. Government wise, you know, it's like I said, and there wasn't a lot of emphasis put on it necessarily when I was going through it, but um the fact that Pluto even getting close to us has such an impact on how we interact with each other and what is going on in our government and our societies and secret societies and sexual taboos and these things that the secrets, the things that we would like to keep to ourselves.
Well, the thing that the Lord also said, do not get into sexual immorality, do not eat blood, do not eat sacrificed animals. Like, he did say that shit.
Correct.
We were just talking, that was actually in the sermon today at church.
Right.
So I find that interesting that you bring that up.
Well, it's true because you know, we have to look at this from all kind of aspects of it. And you know, bottom line is, whether you believe or you don't believe, the founding fathers did believe, and that makes the power in which, or intent, which we were speaking about before, of the build of this nation is about to be questioned by its own father of chaos. And I don't know if any of you remember, but Pluto, god of the underworld, or aka Hades, or aka, you know, the other like trans bazillion names that he could be known as, Satan in the biblical world. Yeah, just saying. Because that's something I didn't like kind of throw out there, because that could be more scary on a level for people that might not quite be ready. But apparently I'm supposed to tell you guys, so I'm sorry. But yeah, you know, I mean, yeah, you could put any name in there with Pluto because they're all the same, guys. Like, when we're talking about these names, don't get hung up on the name. Pluto is important because that's a planet right now, and that's the planetary representation of what we're speaking of. But the actual name of what we're speaking of could be known as many things, from Pluto to Hades to Satan to, I know there's more. Okay, but the bottom line is that so below as above, and we are about to see below come into alignment with above. You dig? You see what's about to go down?
I can dig it.
It's not cool. It's not okay when the below it's not okay when the below breaks the veil and comes above. That's never good. Many do tie it with an antichrist spirit, Bonnie. So that's not far off. You know, because many also believe that part of the destruction is that antichrist, or part of Christ's return being that of the antichrist being born. Now, please again remember that I am really believing that we are not necessarily built to understand everything, and I could be wrong. I do admit that, but I'm okay if I am, because hey, if I'm wrong, I'm sorry. But I really believe that it's more of a consciousness, like Christ consciousness, or universal consciousness, or there's so many things that we can call it, so many things that it is called. Chi, chai, energy, universal life force. It's all, we're still all referring to the same thing with different terminology. And where we're at right now, ladies and gentlemen, is actual historically able to prove a planetary alignment within our particular nation that historically has proven to rise or fall empires.
And to be fair, the last empire that lasted as long as us was Rome. So let's go there.
Yeah.
And he came around and busted up Rome's ass.
Right.
So
just saying, it was pretty close to making it.
Yeah, I mean, hate to be that guy, but that did happen.
Now, the difference between us and Rome being that Rome fell under Pluto, but wasn't actually born under Pluto.
Correct.
Pluto planted our seed. So he is paying, at least, in my belief system, he was here. He planted us as a seed, as a nation. We were born under Pluto. We were born by Pluto, of Pluto, in Pluto, of Pluto, whatever. Divine is what we were born under. $248 years later, he's back to check on that. And I don't know if we bode well on this checkup. And I'm not trying to be fear-mongering, and I'm not trying to be worrisome. But what I am trying to be is real. And I haven't just pulled this information from my arsehole. Okay? I didn't wake up this morning and go, hey, I want to spend the whole day researching Pluto and its alignment to us and what is about to fuck us up. I didn't even know about Pluto's alignment or anything about 02/22/2022 when I woke up this morning. But somehow it aligned with me and said, hey, Red, this is the new message, and it has to go out by 02/22/2022, because otherwise it's too late and you epically failed. So here I am. This is me spreading the message. I did my job. Whether you listen or not, that's on you. Whether you take me seriously or not, that's on you. Whether you believe it or not, that's for you. My job was to give you the knowledge on which to build your next decision in the current circumstances of which that you will be facing.
Which, I mean, unfortunately, we don't know what that's going to be.
Well, we have a pretty good idea with these spikes. With the spikes coming up, the first one again being the 22nd of this month, and then the 11th of July.
And we already have Russia ready to pop off and basically go to war, so it could be something like that.
right? And then July 11th, and then December 28th. Those are the 3 spikes within 2022. And remember that Pluto's basically going to be laying on top of us until 2024. Because he don't do nothing fast.
And we're about to have the pole shift in 2023.
Right.
So there's that. Also a concern.
Well, the pole shift makes sense because he's going to prepare to take below again what belongs below. So the pole shifting.
Correct. Yeah, that would be under his house. You right, G. You right. That's the truth.
So,
That would be in his house anyway. Like that would be something.
Like, welcome to my house.
Welcome to my house.
Right. Like, except he's really not as welcoming as we would like to believe.
No. We're just trying to make light of a really terrible situation.
Right. Because, yeah. I don't think that, I honestly really don't believe that, like the end of the world is going to happen on the 22nd necessarily, but I do believe that something very major, very drastic, very traumatic is going to go down.
Right.
I don't know exactly what that looks like. What I do know is, again, that historically we were born as a nation at this very time, which means for our founding fathers and those before us, this was a very tumultuous time.
Right.
Because you have to remember what led up to the birth of our nation. Right? They were fighting their own revolution at the time leading up to the birth of our nation. So again, we've been fighting a second revolution, whether we are conscious of it or not. Right. We've been fighting it spiritually, and Scarlett and I have been saying that for 4+ years now.
Years. I started in 2015, so it is now years.
And right, so that being stated too, we've been in this, and now is when I think we're going to start seeing a way more physical side. Yes, there was a great division between the people, and the fact that there was that great division between the people, because historically we're seeing that great division happening before us again in a different time, in a different manner, but the division is the same. The outcome is the same. The intent is the same.
True. It's a good point. And the division is still occurring in many different ways. So I'm sure that only multiplies.
Right.
I mean, you've got people for Ukraine, against Ukraine, for this, for that. Lots of stuff is still going on.
Right.
It's not like anything slowed down. It's just taking different perspectives.
Yes, absolutely. Or, as we often say, which, hey, maybe it's too soon, but, Rome wasn't built in a day.
Right.
There's many roads to Rome. We just
Right.
got to get there. So, you know, um, I very much feel though like we are on Rome type level right now.
I agree.
Like I kind of feel like the 22nd could be the beginning of the end. Like truly the beginning of the end, like in a physical state.
Mm. That could be.
Because that's what Pluto brings. And I don't it, I as a parent, okay, see, this is how I have to look at this, right? As a parent, if I looked at my child and saw my child doing the shit that we all be doing, I
Right.
would not be okay. I would not be okay. I would not. And thus, I can't imagine that he's going to be okay with what he sees.
True. No, you do have a good point.
That breaking the veil and so above, so below, again, remembering that the tree of life is the tree of judgment. So for this time frame, or also known as, I did say the tree of knowledge. So for this time frame, the tree of knowledge and the tree of life, or the tree of judgment, right?
Right.
It's known as many things, but
It is.
above, below, right? So as he merges above, below, or below, above, this tree, which is the same tree just reflected below as above, right?
Right.
Become one.
Right.
That's pretty freaking dangerous.
I mean, there's not much we can do.
And then no, and we said that we can't stop it. We can't even slow it down. Like, we're in this game on. This is happening. There's no way out. Like, we in this for the whole motherfucking ride. Unfortunately, it's going to be a really, really bumpy one. There is a lot of construction on the tracks, and you're liable to fly off at any moment, but hang tight, because we got 2 more years.
Well, we got a year to the pole shift.
Right. But we have 2 more years of Pluto. Before he has moved away at a distance far enough to not really affect us anymore.
Right. Which, I mean, until he gets clear out of the way, he'll still be probably able to affect us to some degree. Planets don't just, pop out of thin air right away. It takes them a minute to get out of it.
Right.
Unless something like Planet X could come in and shoot his ass out, or if the pole shift gets too violent, all types of things.
Right. Yeah, the Christ consciousness, I think, being more the return of Christ than what we want to believe. And
Yeah,
that's
I'm a big rapture fan for those who do believe in the rapture. So. That is just not my thing.
what?
I said I just can't get down with the rapture.
Mm. I don't know how to feel about it, honestly.
Yeah, I can't get down with it, G. Like, I just don't think God's gonna come and snatch everybody up for shit gets bad. That's just me.
Oh no, I don't. No, he's just gonna be there. I think this is the beginning of that bringing below and merging it again for a short, brief time with above. I mean, in the long run, it seems like a long time, but in the world of spirituality, it's not long at all.
No, but I'm just saying I don't believe there's going to be a rapture. That's all. I do believe that, I do believe like you said, it's gonna be like a Christ consciousness kind of thing.
Yeah, either you're gonna know or you're not. That's gonna be the rapture, quote
Mm-hmm.
unquote.
Exactly.
But
I don't
again,
think there's a physical rapture, though, is my.
people believe in that physical, and again, they believe, those that believe that physical that you're talking about also believe that Jesus Christ is just gonna like miraculously start walking on the earth again, or Christ, is
Well,
gonna
I
start.
do believe that Christ might appear to us, but I don't believe they're gonna be snatching people up.
And I don't think that he's going to appear. It's going to be that Christ consciousness, that universal consciousness. And we were taken out of that when we were taken out of Eden. And that's what we lost. And here we are now able to attain it back because we've made it through this cycling. It's our turn to get that back. He said he was going to give it back.
Yeah, and he said he would come back in the clouds, so that's why I just say like he might come back.
But he hasn't given it
Yeah,
back.
but it's not the end time yet, though. We ain't there yet. Like after this next Passover and all this shit, when they say all this shit's supposed to line up, they're talking about after that it could happen. So I'm just saying, I will keep an open mind. Do I believe everybody's gonna get snatched up? No, but do I believe maybe Jesus could come back? Absolutely. There has to
Yeah.
be a second coming of Jesus.
Well, yes, but like I said, I believe that is his consciousness that's
See, I
coming
don't
back.
believe that because he came physically in the form again. They said he would come physically again to collect us.
Mm,
Yeah, the Lord did say that.
yeah, but I think we get kind of hung up on the physical word.
I don't think we get hung up on physical because otherwise they would have said spiritual flesh or Holy Spirit.
Not necessarily, because we lose a lot in translation and we don't
I
really
mean,
know.
we all can have our own interpretation, but I just don't think that.
But I do believe that it's not a physical anything.
I mean, but is
Because
the Lord
we do
physical? No.
believe it.
But do I believe that there could be signs or things that we believe is like, okay, yes, absolutely. I do. But
That's
I don't believe it's all gonna just be mental spiritual.
but that's been happening. We've been getting the physicals and we've ignored them. That's how we've gotten to
Yeah,
where
but
we
they're
are.
gonna keep I'm talking about signs of the sky though. Like sky
Yeah.
sign. That shit's getting more intense to where pretty soon it's gonna be shit people can't deny, can't not see, can't say it's not happening. Right now they can try to patch everything up.
Well, but they just did that movie too. That Don't Look Up movie. And if you haven't watched it, you really need to, because exactly what you just said, people can't ignore it. They can though. They can. And they
Yeah,
will.
when the sky starts getting all this weird shit, it's gonna not be like shit falling from the sky or shit you even have to look up to see. It's gonna be right there.
I know. But even in that movie, they showed us, and we know because we've seen it. Look at what happened. Like we were just talking about earlier, too, with even the mention that Trump was running for president in 2015.
I mean,
And
yeah, but we knew that was the beginning of the end of something when it happened.
right.
Like,
And
regardless of knowing where that energy came from, it still was impactful.
right. And we said that.
Mm-hmm.
But we didn't know then what we know now. And knowing now what we didn't know then allows us to note that would have been the actual physical beginning of the second revolution.
Right. Yeah, that's true. But I mean, this is pretty heavy stuff, you guys. Like, it's gonna take you a while to digest all this, but I think we're at the beginning of the big cataclysms, the things that we've been telling you to prepare and get ready for, not just social unrest.
And
I mean,
and again, remembering that Pluto is going to trigger your basic survival instincts.
right.
He is known to do that.
Well, he's already testing mine, so.
Well, I mean that's his game. It's what he's known for. And he loves to crumble nations.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, he's just fond of destruction in general.
Yeah, see, I'm telling you.
So
See,
from the
that's from the
gate, he's
Bible.
ready, like, I mean, that's why I fear for what's about to go down with him coming into alignment with us, because he's already prone before he even gets here to be like, destroyed it all. Fuck it.
Right.
Like,
And
that's
what
just
is his
like,
sign? Is he a air, earth, fire,
he's
water fix?
Scorpio. He's ruled by Scorpio.
What is Scorpio? Is that a fire sign?
Yeah, man. Scorpio's like
Is he
mean as
so?
shit.
No. But I need to know this.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure Scorpio's fire. Yeah, fire.
Let me look this up. Yeah, they are water signs, though.
Oh, well, I guess that would make sense too, because Pluto being also represented by the moon, also whose sign is water.
Right, because I just wondered, like, if he was a fire sign, because the Lord said, "Never again will I destroy the earth by, water."
Well, but we could be taking that to like, what if he's not gonna destroy it by physical water, but by that kind of
Yeah,
water?
I mean that could be.
I mean, he never kind of clarified that, and as we know, shit's got to be pretty specific.
Yeah, see,
Otherwise,
Bonnie has put up some good things from the Bible that I was talking about. Like, Bible says he'll come out of the sky, same as when he left and rose to the sky.
right,
Revelation 15:16, when I come, it'll surprise you like a thief, but God will bless you if you are awake and ready. There are people saying there's peace and security, then sudden destruction will come upon them as labor pains come upon a pregnant woman, and they will not escape. And see, they were saying that the labor pains in the woman was the constellation Virgo, with this other constellation passing through the womb area.
right.
Okay. Then the Lord will come in like a thief, in which the heavens will pass away with the roar, and the elements will be destroyed with intense heat, and the earth and its works will be burned up.
Right.
So, interesting. But this is going to be a big deal. And I want everybody to be ready and prepared and prayed up and really thinking about this. Because there's no way to really outsmart it if this is coming from an astrological, spiritual, metaphysical realm. But there are ways to try to mitigate.
Right.
So, and number one, just being aware helps.
Well, yeah, just, I mean, being aware is, part of the first part of the battle,
We do right. So, yeah, I mean, I just think that we needed to come and talk about this and just let people know that we're in for some really hard times and we're seeing the signs.
And again, he has been progressively getting closer to us since 2008. And in the last 2 years, he's obviously been the closest. And look at what 2020 and 2021 were.
True. They were intense. They were life-changing. They
oh man, where'd she go? Yay.
It changed the world as we knew it, is what I was trying to say.
It did, though.
I know.
And every time Pluto aligns with us, it changes the world as we know it.
Right.
Now, we also know that this thing came off the sun that we've never seen before in alignment with Pluto's impending arrival.
I was raptured. Clowning. That's hilarious.
That to me is a little scary.
I know, right, Gene?
Because what?
What?
Like, you want to tell me what? Like, I'm gonna need everybody to just that's how I felt today. Like, I was like, I'm just gonna need everybody to calm down and let's figure this out. And then I started reading and researching, and I was like, okay, so that's pretty serious. And makes a lot of sense with what's been happening and the collective governments of the world, especially. Because ultimately, every empire is going to find itself underneath Pluto. And perhaps that's what's been rocking everything around us, is transcendence on us. Which is why we should have been maybe paying a little bit better of attention to what was going on to our like neighbors and shit. Because we were supposed to be loving them as we love ourselves. And I think we might have forgotten that a little bit. And thus we've missed the signs of the returns. And we've been so blind as to what's happening on a collective level. Because, again, we've been so hell-bent on the division. That it's like, collective? What do you mean collective? You know, and it's like, yeah, bitch, collective. Like, I'm in this, you're in this, we in this together, collective. Like, you ain't getting out of it, I ain't getting out of it, we in this shit together, we all on the same motherfucking shit, bitches. Whether you want to be on the left or the right of the ship is fucking irrelevant. We're all on the same sinking motherfucking ship. Sad but true.
Dang. As I said before, the collective is going to be one of the important ways that we make it through this. The people we put around us, the people we put in our communities, the communities we put ourselves in, are all going to ensure our survival.
Yep.
That is just going to be the way it is. So I hope that, everybody understands. We're gonna, like I said, we're going to try to be coming on a lot more so that we can keep people updated, try to stay on top of this situation as it unfolds, much like we did during the pandemic. And we did a very good job of that. And we plan to do a very good job of this. But this is going to be more of like the signs of the times and what we see. So, did you have anything too much else, Fred, or else I'm going to head out here?
No, actually, I really didn't.
Awesome.
That's pretty much all I had for the evening.
All right, well, let's get out of here and we'll let the fine people marinate on this idea and these thoughts and what we've brought. And if you guys have any questions or concerns, you guys know how to get a hold of me or Red.
Right.
So definitely reach out to us. If you don't know how to reach out to us, you can always email me at stationmanager@freedomrevolutionnetwork.com, and then I can get that message to Red.
Right.
So check us out. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome, Bonnie. You'll have to rewind, Darren, and go back to the beginning and check it out.
Right. Thanks for being here, buddy.
Yeah, absolutely. We always appreciate you.
Right. All right, everybody. Dare to be different. Dare to be you. Dare to learn to love yourself unconditionally.
And from the land of 10,000 lakes, good night, universe.